When I say fighting games, what do you think about? Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and other games like that, right? Well, if I say Ultraman for the Super Nintendo, what comes to mind? At first, I thought Ultraman was a platform game, but boy was I wrong, because Ultraman is a fighting game. Yeah, like some robot kicking the shit out of a monster wasn't enough of a clue. The name of the game is so misleading, like, what if I asked you if you wanted to play the Little Einsteins for Game Boy Advance and it turned into a first-person shooter? This doesn't make sense. And what's the deal with Super Nintendo having nothing but fighting games? You have Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 2, and Killer Instinct. There's a long list, and if I were to list them all, we'd be here tomorrow. But enough with that. Let's go ahead and play the game. So you get the title screen with one of the worst menu music I've ever heard. Just listen. Yeah, put that in any heroic scene and it's sure to cause discomfort. Yeah, you get the point. Back to the title screen. Don't you love it when the name of the game is different on the title screen than it is on the damn cartridge? I've checked. Towards the Future is nowhere to be found on the cartridge. Once you press start, you get this cheesy cutscene where Ultraman is flying away from an explosion. But if you notice, Ultraman is a robot. If Ultraman is a robot, why is his name Ultraman? If he is a robot, shouldn't his name be Ultra Robot? I guess RoboCop was sick when they did the casting for this game. So this game is just another button masher like all the other fighting games, except this one is less responsive. Like in Street Fighter, at first you jam buttons because you don't know what to do, but later you'll learn how to do special moves and how to execute attacks. But in here, all you do is move around hoping the enemy runs into your attacks because you get this stupid little dinky kick and a karate chop that probably makes the enemy die of laughter. Watch this. Could you look any more awkward? The D-pad moves Ultraman around like normal fighting games, and you press the X button to jump, and you can do aerial attacks, which in my opinion is an advantage over games where you press up to jump, and if you press up and X, you get this super jump. Awesome! You find yourself doing aerial attacks more than anything because when you are on the ground, the attacks aren't fluid. It's like you stop dead in your tracks when you try to attack somebody. When you get your enemy's health low enough, it says finish in their health bar. Oh, so one more hit and they're dead, right? Well, let me just hit them one more time. What? They didn't die? Why does it say finish if they won't die? And they just keep getting hit. Imagine if in Mortal Kombat the screen says finish him, but he stands upright and knocks you out. That's not fair. Why can't you just go up to him and punch him? Well, it turns out you have to wait for this box to fill up, and it determines how powerful your beam is. The higher the level, the more powerful the beam. And when the beam reaches max, you are able to severely damage or kill the enemies when it says finish. Why did they have to make it so cryptic? Like kicking or punching the enemy was too simple? You also take damage from simply touching the enemy, which always baffled me. Even in Mega Man, if you touch the bad guy, you take damage. When you get close to the enemy, Ultraman grabs him. But sometimes it happens at pure random. If you get close to the enemy, you will either grab them or take damage. When you beat the enemy, you get the screen that shows your score and Ultraman grunts and flies away. What does that sound like to you? What, does Ultraman think he's a dog? After they count your score, you get to see who is next on the list and it says challenge next stage. I don't want to fight the stage, I want to fight the enemy! The second stage boss reminds me of Godzilla. I don't know what led me to think Godzilla, you know, with the ruined city and broken buildings and whatnot. You know, if you're in the heat of a battle, you forget that there is a timer. When you would ever be in a battle that's heated, I don't know. But anyways, if that timer runs out, whoever has the most health wins, right? Nope, you die. In Marvel vs. Capcom 2, if the time runs out and you have the most people with the most health, you win. But in here, the game says, fuck that, you lose. And when you die, it brings you to this screen that says chances left and press start. And Ultraman is on the floor with his lights off. But could they have made this any more bland? What if they just put press start or you died? Anything else would have been better than that. There really isn't a strategy to this game. All you do is jump and chop, jump and chop. I mean, it works. You can throw in an occasional kick here and there, but really there's nothing much to gameplay. I hate this game's music. From the title screen to the transition slides, the music is just horrible. Even the sound effects are bad. It makes Terminator 3 sound like a masterpiece. And you know what? After playing through some levels, they start to reuse some enemies. All they do is change the color slightly and slap on the number 2. That's it. I don't know what makes people think that adding the number 2 will make something better. It doesn't. Like Street Fighter 2 almost went on forever, but all they did was release the same game with minor updates. But it's still the same game.
Don't get me wrong, Street Fighter is a great game, and I'm reviewing Ultraman, not Street Fighter. But still, it's no excuse. And the only company that seemed to capture what Super Nintendo was really capable of was Capcom, with the Mega Man X series. Yeah, I know, there are other great games for Super Nintendo than just Capcom games. But hey, that's just my opinion. So let's recap. You have bad controls, awful music, bad graphics, no creativity, and the reuse of enemies. Bandai really messed up when they made this game. But what would you expect from people that made Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?